So can you all see that?
I can't see anything for this.
Can't see anything.
That may be me because maybe my internet's unstable.
I can't see anything yet either.
Yeah, me neither. I can't see any presentation or anything.
Any luck? There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, you see it now, Chris. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right. Okay. So I want to talk about project planning today, and this is very much about setting the scene for the remainder of the project. Focus very much on what you guys are going to be doing over the next couple of months. So it's really from this point onwards that you, all the participants, take over in terms of your projects and how we can support you to achieve your aims and objectives. So I wanted to create a framework for how you might do that. And I'm going to run through a few slides. I'm going to be sending around some information at the end of the session to help you plan your project, which we can support you with. So bear with me while I just work this through. I thought I'd do a little bit of a refresher. It's always good to go back to where we started and just take stock of what we've learned and what we've discussed and what we've described thus far. So I just wanted to focus on the original aim of the Heritage of Our Lives. And we wanted to enable participants to focus on their own lives, very much taking a human approach to the concept of heritage, and enabling you guys to research and create information, stories and photographs from your own personal histories. So this is the point at which we turn the mirror on you and all the things that you want to use within the context of your project. So what we've done thus far, we've looked at the meaning of heritage, good session from Jim Butler. We've done some work on researching ancestry, and Phil Hill is up for providing any support about ancestry using ancestry.co.uk. I think I've circulated his email to you, and he'd be more than happy to support any of you if you want to go down that route, to use that website and to look at your ancestry. Antoinetta did a really good session on using narrative and storytelling, and it may well be that you want to pick one of the three options that she talked about to help you present your story. Stuart did a lot of good work on an introduction to photography. We looked at the history of photography and we looked at some great photographers. And you've also had a session on getting to know your cameras. So hopefully everybody who has received one of the Lumix cameras through the project will get the chance, will have had the chance to have played with it over the last week and maybe took some photographs. And a plea, please, any good ones that you take, do share them on the WhatsApp group. We're really keen to see the photographs that you take. And I just remind you about what Stuart said last week, and that was take lots and lots of photographs. That's the only way that you improve. Loads and loads of photographs. You've got a big memory stick, use it, and shoot everything and anything. That's a really, really good way of getting you into photography. You become much more confident then about your abilities once you're able to critique some of the work that you've done. And then for the remainder of the project, we're going to have a session about using digital technologies, which Kai's dad has kindly agreed to present for us. So that'd be good. We're also going to have a session on the diversity of Leicester to look at Leicester's cultural heritage. I'm also going to do a session on other types of research skills that could be used to inform your projects. And then, of course, your own personal projects, which will be presented through the website, and then through a project exhibition at the end of the program. So that's where we're heading now. Okay, your input thus far has been really good. We've really enjoyed having you on board. So you've all done the skills assessment. Thanks very much to everybody who contributed and uploaded that. It gives a really good benchmark in terms of where you are or where you were a couple of weeks ago. And then we'll come back to that and measure whether or not you've improved, learned, developed your skills, informed your expertise by the end of the project. You've given us data permissions so we know what we can and can't share. You've been very good listeners, and we're hoping that you've also been able to develop your photography. And hopefully you started to use some of the ideas that Antoinetta presented in terms of narrative, and you're thinking about how you might describe, whether it's through poetry, whether it's through prose, whether it's through photography, or another narrative form, thinking about how you might describe your project using one of the options that she talked about. But more and more, and starting from this point onward, the project is more about what you want to get out of it. Focus very much on you. So we're moving away from the THOOL team presenting, and increasingly we're going to focus on you and your ideas. And I think I'd like to say at the outset that we very much want you to share ideas. And we're starting with a strapline that no idea is a bad idea. So really keen over the next couple of weeks to hear what you want to do. More than happy to explore with you particular aspects of the projects that you want to develop. And hopefully the next few weeks will give you the opportunity to talk about to the THOOL team and all participants about the project, the type of work that you want to do. So don't be shy in coming forward, and feel confident that everybody in this group wants to support you and wants to help you, because that's the approach that I think we've set out to deliver. And hopefully, you know, that's come through in terms of everything that we've said thus far. It's very much a collaboration and a collective effort. And the end of project presentation will be about pooling everybody's ideas. So it will be all participants getting involved, sharing their ideas and working collaboratively to put on a good exhibition at the end. So in terms of planning your project, I thought it might be useful to run through some key questions that you might want to ask yourself, and you might already have started to ask yourself questions about what you want to do. I know I've had a couple of conversations with people who've got ideas, and hopefully they've been rehearsing those in their heads, maybe in conversation with family and friends. But this set of questions, I think, would provide a framework for you to develop your project. So I'm going to run through them and just talk through them one by one. So what aspect of your life or your heritage do you want to focus on? Can you nail down your project in one sentence and describe what it is that you want to look at over the next couple of months? What particular aspect of your life? Is it about friends? Is it about family? Is it about culture? Is it about your community? Is it about your affinity with maybe some buildings and places that you have frequented down the years? Or might it be about your heritage, your family's heritage, those people who have come to live in the UK? Do you want to explore where your family originated from in the various countries that you know that you have your family has moved from to be in the UK? So lots of opportunities really to focus on a particular aspect. Or you might want to bring 2 or 3 of those ideas together to combine into a single idea. But when you're starting to shape your project, I think it's always helpful to try and describe what it is you want to do in a single sentence. And that would focus on the aim of your project. What do I want to achieve? What are you trying to achieve as a result of your project? You're wanting to showcase an aspect of your heritage, but what particular aspect of the story is it that you want to tell? And why do you want to tell that particular story? What is it that excites you about that story? Does it have ramifications culturally or in terms of your family? Or what is it that will be of particular interest to those people who will look at your story ultimately? Try to hone in on a specific feature or a couple of features from your story and highlight those and demonstrate what it is that really excites you about the topic that you're exploring. Once you've kind of nailed down what it is you want to do, you need to think about the research that you need to undertake to gather information to inform your story. And the research can be anything from rooting around in cardboard boxes in your loft to find photographs and family material, to talking to people, to going on to websites like ancestry.co.uk, going to the Wigston Record Office, or maybe exploring the subject that you want to focus on through books in libraries, or maybe materials that your family have about the house, or connections, anecdotes, stories that your friends or close contacts share with you. So research can be a multi-headed beast, but to inform your story, to make it realistic, to make it lively, to give it some credible material to underpin it, you're going to have to do some research. So you need to think about what those research tools are that you want to use to get the information to make your story a feasible and credible one. And then you'll need to think about the way that you present your subject. What format do you want to use to present the subject? Clearly, most of you will be using photography. That's one of the attractions that brought you to this project in the first place. But you may also want to look at other ways of presenting your subject. And Antoinette talked about poetry. We've talked about storytelling. You might want to record a video. You might want to write up your story as a short story, and you might want to present that in video form. So there are lots of different ways that you could present your subject, which could then form part of the exhibition at the end. So photography will be one of the tools that you use, but you may have other ideas about how you want to present what you want to do. And then I think this is quite an important one for me. What impact do I want my project to have? So it will be a project that's important to you, and it will be of interest to you, and it will probably be of interest to your family. But will it resonate with those people who come along to an exhibition at the end of the project? What will the impact on them be of the story that you have to tell? So one of the things that you want to think about is the audience that your story, your subject, your presentation will be presenting to. So think, while you're developing your idea, how the audience might perceive what it is you're trying to develop. It's really, really critical, I think, if we're going to get engagement, that you think about how the audience might respond to your project. And you may want to be provocative, you may want to excite them about the subject matter, or you may want to present in a way that engages them from an emotional point of view. So think about how you can achieve that impact on audience, because at the end of the day, we want good feedback, don't we, from the audience? And to engage with the audience effectively, you need to have some level of emotional connection with them. So think about what the audience might be thinking when they come and have a look at what it is you've developed. And then lastly, what's the timetable for achieving all of the above? We've only got a short period of time to complete the project. So you've got to map out a timetable to do all the work, to answer all the questions that I've listed there. And you've seen the session timings, and you know the dates for when we're going to be gathering information about what it is you're presenting. And you know the date for the presentation, it's July. The exhibition will run throughout July. So your presentation, the presentation of the project as a whole, will run throughout July. So we've got from now, April the 20th, until the end of June, to plan all this, to bring it to fruition. But it's always useful, I think, to have your own personal timetable that you can work to. In any aspect of work that you're doing, it's important that you have a timetable, maybe with some milestones. You know what you've got to do at certain periods in that 10-week development process. So map out what you want to achieve and when you want to achieve it by, and that will be a really useful framework, I think, for you to ensure that you complete your project and you're in a position to be able to participate in the exhibition at the end of the project. So I think there the kind of questions that you'll find in the template that I'm going to circulate, and hopefully that will provide a really good framework for you to develop your ideas. So in terms of how we're going to take this forward, I've started to build some dates in, and we've started to have some conversations about how we can do some work outdoors and how we can support you. So what we're planning to do is for me to circulate the planning template at the end of this session. And then for the remainder of this week, we'd like you to work on your template and on your plans. So start to answer the questions in the document that I circulate. If you want to have conversations with us, then we're more than happy to engage on a one-to-one basis, whether that's on the phone, whether it's via email, whether it's via a personalized Zoom. If you want to talk through your project concept, then we're more than happy to do that. So please feel free to contact any of the 4 of the THOOL team, and we'll try and give you some support. And then starting next week, Monday the 26th to Friday the 30th of April, as well as having the 2 evening sessions, we're going to try and plan either 2 or 3 what we call in life photography sessions out in the city. And we'll get dates and times over the next 24 hours and we'll consult with you about that. But during those photographic shoots, which will last for about an hour, they could last a little bit longer, we'll have individual discussions with you about the content of your project. So if you haven't engaged with us this week, and if you come out on the photographic shoot next week, then we'll be in a position to have a chat with you about what it is you want to do. That then gets us to Monday the 4th of May. And at that point, we'd like you to submit your project plan to us. And hopefully it's not a question of this is good enough, this is not good enough. It's a question of ensuring that you've got everything that you need to fulfill your project prior to the end of June. So after Monday 4th of May, we'll sign the projects off and off you go with our ongoing support to develop your project. And we'll help you all the way through until the end of June when we collate everything and we then start to think about how we might present that as an exhibition. Stuart and Zainab are doing work on the website. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll have some information about how your photographs and how your projects can be curated on the website. So think about how you might want to present your work in a web-based format as well. So does that timetable feel comfortable to everybody? Is that something that you think you can work to? Working on your templates, working on your project plans this week, live photography shoot, city centre maybe next week, and then by Monday the 4th, you'll have your project plans and you'll be able to talk to us about them. Speak now or forever hold your peace, as they say. So does that work for you all? Yeah, Ed's got his finger up, thumb up. Yeah, Kai's cool. Humera?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, Grace, you good with that?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Okay. Zainab?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, Daljinder, happy with that? Cool, okay, that's good. So, just to remind you, the THOOL team is here to help. Zainab is a participant, but she's also a member of the organising group, and she's turning out to be a bit of an IT whiz. So if you want to have conversations with her about IT, social media, then she's a really good person to talk to. Stuart is the photographic guru, so anything to do with the functionality of your camera, anything to do with how you take a good photograph and present the photograph, have a chat with him. Antoinetta focusing on narrative, storytelling, media, and how you present your story in an effective way. Please talk to Antoinetta. And then me, you can talk to me about heritage generally or about project planning. But any of us would be more than happy to give you advice and support if you want it over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so I've managed to get through that without sneezing, which is good. Does anybody have any questions at this point? All happy? Okay, well, that's good. Don't necessarily want to have a conversation now, but I think, as I said before, this is kind of the watershed presentation. From here on, we've been building up to this. You've all got the background. You all know what the project is about. And from here on, then it's the focus is very much on you guys and what you want to do and how you want to develop your project. So I think over the next couple of weeks, we'll be inviting you to say more, to do more, and to talk more to the remainder of the group. So I'm going to leave you now, and I will send out information later on tonight, project template. If anybody wants a one-to-one session, then please book us in advance, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday. And then we'll have a chat with you about what live photography sessions in terms of dates and times work best for you, and we'll get those in the diary for next week. So hopefully we'll see everybody in the flesh, so to speak, next week, which would be really, really good. But in the meantime, please think about your project plan. And I'm really excited to hear about what ideas you've got and how you want to develop those ideas into projects that will excite the general public when we exhibit in July. Okay, so have a good evening, everybody, and we'll see you on a one-to-one basis later on this week, maybe, but collectively, hopefully next week. Okay, see you soon. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.